Call the meeting to order. Approve minutes for July 9th. Take a motion to approve.
I had some comments.
Okay, let's move. We can move it first and then get it on the floor to talk about it.
So would we make a motion to revise?
Approve. No, just to approve.
Oh, I have a bunch of revisions.
Yeah, we make the motion first and then.
Oh. Okay.
So I make the motion to approve the minutes for July 9th.
I have a couple comments. On the MERP grant section, it uses Mike and Mike interchangeably. So you don't know, is that Mike talking or this Mike talking? So like I made a motion at the end, but if you read the whole thing, you might think it's me talking. So I was gonna suggest putting Mike G or Mike Geis for the upper mics. I think it was all of them. And then the other revision was for the town plan section. That was a warned public hearing. So you're gonna wanna say that it was warned, a warned meeting. I can send you the ad and everything. I don't think you need that, but you just need to say it's a warned public meeting to take comments on the town plan, which the select board was considering for approval or for adoption. Sorry. The other thing I would say there is that we didn't receive any comments. Dorothy, did you make a comment? You might have made a comment at the planning commission meeting when we had it about it. I don't believe we received any comments on it. The other thing you would want to say is after the motion is approved at the end that the town plan became effective immediately upon. So the effective date is essentially the meeting. So you would say once we made the motion was approved, the town plan became effective. And that was all I had.
Once it was approved by the select board?
Yeah, right at the point at the end there it says motion approved, and you can say newly adopted town plan, or it became effective immediately. If you want, I can send you a snippet like how the planning commission, but we put like a little bit more, who is present for the public meeting, but we don't really have to do that here. Just say no one made any comments. Yeah.
I can adjust that.
Thanks. With those changes, I could approve a motion to approve.
Need a second on it.
Oh, I have to second your motion?
Yeah.
So I'll second your motion to approve with the changes.
With revisions.
With revisions.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
And we signed the other ones.
Yep.
Adjustments to agenda, anything? No. Setting the tax rate.
So that's your spreadsheet there, is what we use each year to set the tax rate. A lot of it's right in the town report revenue page, so you can see what the budget, and then you subtract what the town's gonna receive in revenues, or some of it is, I mean, most of that is predicted, and that's what we, do at the beginning of the year for the town report. And then that comes down to what the town approved for a budget for the year. Goes into the whole formula with the grand list. Now that that's final, then we got on page 2, that gets the 2 tax rates for the general fund and highway there at the top towards the right of the box. So those are the 2 rates. And then those 2 rates go into the first box down for 2025. It adds in the education rates that the state determines and gives to us. And then the first yellow would be this year's tax rate. And then there's the comparison for 2024 and 2023. So that's, the one you have is with figuring 0 fund balance. So that's the other sheet that I gave you about the differences of the different amounts to be used, that could be used. Again, we normally So if you look at the first page, about 5 lines down, you can see the general fund balance as of 12/31/2024, 18,920. So normally that's, 300 and some thousand. But this was all due to us spending it on FEMA. Now we've received the FEMA money back, so it makes sense that that figure, which we won't, even though we have received the money, we're not gonna know that till the year ends, what the new fund balance is. So it's kind of just banking on the fact that we know we got that money and the fund balance should go back roughly.
Do we know the figure of the money that we got?
Yeah, but that's not cut and dry of how that works. I mean, we got back 330,000, but we spent 200 and we still gotta spend 100 something on Pound Road out of the money we've already received. So those, 330 plus subtract the Pound Road and what we spent. I mean, that's how FEMA came up with the 330,000.
Right.
So that money is received now in the bank, but it won't reflect because this goes by last year's fund balance, the end of the year's fund balance of last year.
But we can use some of that money in the bank in order to cover this if we decide to put money
Right.
towards that.
Right,
Okay.
the idea is that right now we've already spent 7 months of bills and paid for everything in the town. The town works opposite of like a business. Now we're gonna get all our money with tax time and only have a couple months left of bills to pay. So we've already gone through most of the year paying all our bills, and that replenishes all the money. So that's always like the tricky thing to think of. It works backwards with the town. So that's the hope, that once everything finishes out at the end of the year, it's all back to what it was before we spent it all on FEMA, because we technically did get it all back.
Okay. And our fund balance, refresh my memory, before that was,
Like $380,000.
okay. So if we did, now, you said in the past, they have done like $50,000, right?
So highway we already decided, or you already decided at town meeting or budget time, because we got those pre-payments. The state gave all the towns with the flooding, their state payments that we usually get every quarter. So we already counted on that money. So the highway's already using 30,000 of their fund balance. So that's why we're only talking about the general funds. Normally, we decide both, which you technically did. You decided 0 for the general fund, the 30 for the highway, because we knew we were getting those 2 payments early and extra in 1 year, less in another year. They did it 2 years in a row with both floods. So now we're just figuring out the general fund, and the increases and decrease if you use, so in that sheet I gave you, it's with not using any, and then if you use 30,000, that would be the decrease if you use 50. So in the past, we've used 30 and 30, we've used 50, one time we used 75. That's probably the highest that I can remember. Or we did 100,000
I think we
once.
did once 100, yeah.
Yeah, what do you think, Mike? I think it would be smart to not go above 50, just because we're not positive where we're gonna end up.
Right.
We would be staying level by doing 30, because that's what we've done the last 2 years, but then we were getting that money back. That's how I understood that? Basically?
Well, just however they decided last year on 30, I honestly can't remember.
I don't know.
the
Yeah.
reason.
I think-
And it went towards the highway fund.
No, highway got 32, I think, or something, and
Oh.
general fund got 30.
Gotcha.
Actually, it says in the town report. And then and that was the same reasoning for highway, because it was, that year they also got the 2 extra or early payments. So it was the same idea. You knew that money was coming. It would just sit in the fund balance because we didn't account for it, knowing it was gonna come early. So then the select board decided to just use that same amount. So that works out fine. So then it was just you guys had decided 0 because we didn't know how FEMA was gonna pan out, and now, but I kind of agree with what Tom said. It's kind of safe, yet does a little bit something.
Helps some.
And then next year, when we finally have the fund balance figures back to being able to see them better, no more FEMA, no more flooding, hopefully,
We hope.
and then we have a better idea, and you could choose, if all of a sudden it was a lot higher or something, then you could use a chunk, bigger chunk next year.
Yeah. We were just talking, we were just talking there, trying to decide what amount we wanted to use to reduce. And we were just kind of thinking maybe 50, because we don't want to go more than that, because we don't really know where we're going to end up at the end of the year.
I looked at this sheet, but there's no revenue
Yeah,
in here, right?
I didn't think this would make much difference,
No.
I was thinking here, yeah,
I think we need to be a little bit conservative, because we don't know where we're going to end up.
yeah.
Are our revenues where they should be, or higher than normal? I know it's not.
So, well, if you look on this, you can see, this is what, at the end of last year, when we did the budget and town
Yes.
report, this is what we, I don't know if the word is guess, but estimated our revenues to be by what they've been in the past. So those are the figures that we estimate this year's revenues to be. So that's what gets put into this sheet.
Yeah.
In a sense, not actually, like, so right now, I guess it's August, you could run an actual and maybe readjust a few by a couple $100, but we don't tend to do that. We just go with that flat amount that,
And it's generally like right in the ballpark, or
yeah, there could be something,
Something
you know, we've
above.
done better with dogs, so dog licensing is gonna be a little higher, but
yeah.
we're
But
talking,
nothing jumping out like, oh, we're gonna
not
not
gonna be
have
thousands and thousands of dollars.
Or we have like an excess revenue because we jacked up the planning, the zoning permit or something.
Right.
Okay.
And then it's nice that this sheet also matches the revenue sheet in the town report. So they, you know,
Yeah.
we didn't change any of that. The pilot money, the current use money, is the same as what we put in the town report. So those will change, those will be a little different. I mean, you can look in the town report to see what we brought in compared to what we estimated last year. You know, they're usually on the more conservative side, off by a few thousand, but I think that's what you kind of plan on, is having it be more conservative.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Tom. Something either 50 or 30. It's kind of where I'm at.
I'll make the motion to use 50,000 of the fund balance to reduce this year's tax rate.
I second it.
Go ahead and take all of
Okay.
it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So I have the one that's printed with the 50,000 that you can sign, either now or,
Oh yeah, we have to sign this one.
yeah.
All right, town, reviewing tax insert.
So what this is it goes with your tax bill, and it has all the information on how you can pay and what you do if you sold your property. I've really, updated it, changed it from previous years. I think it's a little more eye-catching. So I usually like the select board to, look at it, and so I can get their blessing, so that can go into the tax bills. It's double-sided.
never sure how many people read it, but it does have a lot of good information on it. One of the main ones being that we have the mail slot next to my door in the entranceway. You know, a lot of people with all different things that they need to get to us, and that really can't be your excuse because that's open 24/7. You can drop anything that
Is
you
that
need.
like a lockbox?
It's locked inside.
Okay.
It's mostly locked when, I mean, our offices are locked, but during election time, because it's the ballot thing too, so it's locked during all that. And people put tax payments in or dog stuff in and anything, time sheets.
Yeah, I think this looks good.
Looks good to me.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Taking the time to look at it.
Colorful enough where it ought to bring some
Well,
attention.
that's what we try, and this year we saw another town did it like this, so she sent me how she did it, and so I've been working on it, and I think it is eye-catching.
Yeah, no,
And
good.
hopefully people, if they have questions, it's right there.
All right,
Okay, thank you.
Cross Vermont Trail reroute, knotweed treatment. You got something for us on that, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, well, we had the issue, the adjacent property owner, and then it came up that there was knotweed treatment happening on that property, and I guess I wasn't aware there was knotweed treatment going on that property. I thought there wasn't. So I just, I told Alan, and I didn't talk to Dale, but I told Alan to not spray back there.
Yeah.
And so I put that on the agenda because I wasn't sure if it was a change in.
No, I think we discussed that last year, that we were gonna try to mow it
And
and
not
keep it
turn
down.
there.
A lot of things have happened since last year.
Yeah,
There's a lot of issues with that. I mean, I think over the last year, Dale and I in particular have really come to hate this plant. And if you don't really know the biology of it, you need to, because it's a monster. You know, mowing doesn't work. We've got it's been reported that it does, but what happens is you can sort of keep it down. They were doing that on the Memorial Park. We've got good example up on Powder Springs, a place we're working where cutting any form just makes it spread. And that's what people are reporting. If you mow it, small chips come off and those chips can plant. But the other thing is if you mow it, it goes out on the rhizomes and starts coming up again. It actually makes it spread more. We had a meeting in Montpelier on May 9th where each of the towns, there's actually only about 5 towns as active as we are, which I was surprised it's so few. And we discussed the various different ways that people working on. A good example is Waitsfield, where they are doing digging, pulling, and their conclusion is they can reduce it by half each year. You good at math? How many years does it take to get rid of it?
Never.
Infinity.
Never.
Never. And that's what came out of this meeting. And while you're getting rid of half of it, the rest is still growing. It's a disaster. If you look along the river, what we did, we sprayed last fall. There are some patches where there's no knotweed. There's other patches where there's small shoots coming up. There's a couple of places we missed, and that's on our agenda. It's budgeted from the grant to be sprayed again in September.
And this is the property we're just talking about, the town property in
No,
between.
this is the grant is all the private properties on the north of the river, including the Memorial Park.
Okay.
So what we proposed for this year We actually proposed it for last year and got worn out with the heat and the flood and everything, but what was budgeted was about 3 acres on the Gateway Park and on the Cross Vermont Trail. And that was proposed, and the state permit was applied for state permit, and the Cross Vermont Trail is included in that permit. I actually have a copy of it if you want it. Dale, more than me, has been cutting, and he's cut the whole of the park, and the acres on the park, and the Cross Vermont Trail. And we know that the Cross Vermont Trail is going to go through there. We know that they hadn't got to it yet, so we were hoping they weren't going to get to it. And why the conversation Mike and I started a week or two ago was all of a sudden they've sent a plow through there and they've made a trail go through, which they're going to have to do. We just went up there and checked. The knotweed's already growing back out of it. You will not get rid of it by digging it, mowing it, or anything. What Greg Weston, is that the right? What's his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what he proposed when I discussed it with him 6 months, a year ago, was he was talking about maybe putting down some mat, which would be a carpet underneath gravel, which would stop it coming up. If he does that, that's fine, on the trail. But what you've still got is you've got a lot of knotweed growing down Railroad Street. We need to address what's on the right-of-way beside the road there. And there's a huge amount on either side of the trail. So we still believe that we need to spray as much as we can, because that's really the only way I now believe you'll ever eradicate it. That's where we stand.
The reason why we ended up talking was we had an issue come up with adjacent property owner who's sensitive to just the construction taking place there. And we realized that he's going to be very sensitive to spraying there.
Well, that's what we discussed.
The other adjacent landowner hasn't been determined by court yet, so nothing can be done to that adjacent property.
Yeah.
We've discussed, I've met with Don Panett twice, and he and I both contacted Samantha, which is Kevin's daughter, and she hasn't responded to our communication.
She hasn't responded to anything.
Yeah, and that's a small patch on the corner of the property.
It's a larger patch, but it does go out beyond there now.
But all the way along Railroad Street, which is the town right away, and the town property of the Cross Vermont Trail can still be sprayed.
That's very sensitive.
Yeah, I think what we're telling you is not to spray that.
The piece that was in question, which Larry and I had a meeting with, separate meetings with Dave Sample on this, was Dave said don't spray near my property, but we could never decide what was near. The issue that comes up for us is, and I've given him a paperwork, but I doubt he'll read it. The stuff we're using is benign. It will not kill his ducks or his chickens, which is what he's concerned about. I mean, there are a few people in town we've run into. It's hard to convince them.
And his garden.
His garden
Everywhere as well.
Yeah, and his well.
Yeah.
And so,
It is not worth doing it there.
Yeah.
No.
And the question becomes, I mean, who draws the line between, I mean, you guys are really in charge. Who draws the line between what can be sprayed and what shouldn't be sprayed?
The select board.
Yeah.
Right.
We're telling you not to spray these
why-
parcels here anymore.
Yeah.
Even with the permit, we're saying you're not permitted to do that on, I would say, town property. I would make a motion to say no spraying on these properties here.
Yeah.
yeah, I just think it's gonna open up a whole can of worms that we're not.
Yeah, I mean, we don't wanna get into, somebody's well and somebody's livestock, that kind of thing. I mean, I know that there's studies that say that it's not harmful, but there's also studies that say that it is.
The other
I'd
thing
rather
is-
err on the side of caution than when it comes to somebody's property and their well and their livestock.
The
It's not worth.
question of the well is not Sandville's well. The question of the well was Wakefield's well. And we're well aware that we have to stay a certain distance away from the well on that property.
Well,
Which
the-
means you can
the
actually-
other question is, all it takes is for one of Mr. Sandville's animals to be super sensitive to this, and you've created a hailstorm like you don't want.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is a resident has raised a concern about something completely different, which is just the construction going through there and the thought of then spraying, just it raised red flags for me.
And it's a hard one to explain to Mr. Samville because he had knotweed all along that fence clear to powder spray. And over the years, he's maintained it with mowing. And there's not any there now. You know, I say, he kept it mowed down.
He did.
And that's not his property to keep mowed down, but he did. So we're just going down the wrong street
It's not worth it
right now.
to kick that bee's nest.
So I'm with Mike. We're gonna ask you not to do anything there.
Can I ask you a related question, because it's gonna come up elsewhere? In the town, in the right of way. Have you driven up Goodfellow Road? Where there's 100 foot of knotweed on either side of the road, about a mile and a half up. There's a question of who deals with that? You know, if Harold's mowing crew go in there and they mow it, they're just gonna continue to spread it. Most of it's on the former Terry Dana's land and the one opposite. But we're running into those kinds of issues as well, which is, do we ignore it? The worst thing to do with this thing is to ignore it. I've seen this in some other towns, if a neighbor chooses to ask you not to take not to spray, he can be told to be responsible for controlling it. If Dave wants to mow everything that's on that spot along the trail there and down Railroad Road, he can. But I mean, what I'm sort of suggesting is that at least the piece that goes from the trail down Railroad, which is on the edge of Kevin's property, should at least be sprayed, because that is within the town right of way that Harold and his mowing crew has to attack on a regular
Some of
basis.
it is, some of it isn't. The town right of way is only 24 feet 9 inches from the center of the traveled portion of the highway.
Mhm.
Okay, so you're not talking about a large distance from the edge of the road to where you can spray. The other thing is, if you spray that and that dies, you still have the other that you can't get to because it's outside of the right of way.
Yep. But I'm trying to get at the idea of what are we going to do about maintaining the right of way? How far do you think that was back from the edge of the road? Long railroad, where you cut it? Was that 6 foot from the edge of the road or something?
It's more than that.
No, it's more than that.
Yeah.
I mean, it went all the way to the trail, most of the way.
Yeah, I'm not thinking that these are those across the edge of the road.
No, I know, but I mean,
Yeah,
it was like a
no.
pie.
Yeah,
I'm
Right
talking
there.
anything about his property,
Yeah.
yeah. Right.
because this is town property too,
Yeah,
that's where the
it
trail
is right
goes.
here, and this is right, yeah,
This is the trail too, right?
yeah.
Yeah, it's this right here that we're saying no.
Yeah, so this was the one we had, which is not so different. What it's doing is, that's his property. This is the Cross Vermont Trail. What's that?
This is his property.
That's,
The street, I think.
oh, hang on. Is that, no, this is,
That's
oh,
Railroad
that's
Street.
Powder Spring, this
That's-
is the, this is the little,
Yeah, this is
Okay.
this is
okay.
Railroad Street.
Okay, the patch we're talking about, which has knotweed on, is actually it's that sort of thing. So there's a little bit of an overlap close to his fence. This is the piece that goes down the road, the railroad, and then you've got what's down in here. It's actually, most of it's not that close to his property. There's a little bit in that area.
It's still too close.
It's
for me.
still too
Yeah.
close, because his property's right there.
Yep.
He's gonna have issues
I would strongly suggest
that
It's
not
like-
to spray that area.
I'd say not even spray the bypass of the
No,
trail either.
No,
Just
leave
stay
that
off
alone.
it.
There's plenty of other places for you folks to spray. That's probably not a good one.
yeah.
Yeah, that one's not one to die on your sword.
We wasn't trying to die on our sword, we were trying to get rid of the knotweed. That's just gonna continue down Railroad, it's gonna continue along the railroad trail.
At what point do you put it in the landowner's hands? I mean, what are the,
Well, see.
he's
now
not
you're
gonna go
on
to
his
jail if he
side.
doesn't cut his knotweed, is he?
No,
No,
No one's going to jail.
no.
So, there's, the laws right now, we have to be careful what we deem to do on someone's property.
This is a problem down the entire Wells River
Yeah,
byway. It isn't just indigenous to Groton. It's all the way through Wells
Yeah,
River. all
it's
the way
everywhere.
through. So,
Everywhere.
I just
No.
think, I understand over on Main Street, between the river and Main Street, you sprayed, those landowners accepted it.
Yeah.
They all gave you permission.
Yeah.
I think going forward, that's all we have to do if we get permission from the landowner. But if you got one that's questioning you,
well, this is the question.
what time, how much time do you spend on that to cause issues down the road?
The issue is, it's not on his land, but it's on town land. But I
But it's
understand.
not all on town.
It's not
land.
all, it is,
Look, we're only talking about the part on, there's a piece on.
yeah, but where, our town land is right next to his land.
Yes.
And I just think we have to take that
We
into
can
account.
only control the town land,
Yeah,
and we're definitely gonna say no on that section.
on that section.
I can tell you what we have on the agenda for next year, which is private lands. We're continuing to move up the river, and we're starting to get permission from people up the river. Roger Daigle's given us permission, Linda Dunn, even Don Panett, we can move further up. Because what we want to do, you mentioned the Wells River, we want to get it off the Wells River, that's the primary goal. Because it keeps going down to Reigate and Connecticut. That's what we're focusing our effort as much as we can. This year we will still therefore be spraying what's on the pump. And that's the budget, the town has budgeted that. And that is the first year of spray, well, some of it's already been sprayed when we sprayed it third time actually. Some of it will be sprayed the first time this year and again next year. It takes at least 2 years. Some clears up in a year. We've been amazed actually how successful we were in some patches, but you don't get it all.
Yeah.
But there is no other approach that seems valuable. We actually have a Zoom meeting with the state coming up in a week where we discuss this in more detail.
Now, I was under the impression that anything that I've read has said that if you mow it and you continue to mow it weekly so that it can't grow up and get leaves, then it will go away.
I've read that too.
Which
And I've
is,
seen-
which
I've
to
seen
me would
further.
be the best option for where
I-
we're talking about.
Yeah, there's a lot to mow. And it's being cut at the moment, but it's still decided. What you have, if you try to run a lawnmower through it now, you're gonna hit the crowns. And lawnmower's not gonna go through those crowns. A best thing to do, in that regard, if you can do it, is actually dig out the crowns, which is the big thing. It can be huge with 20, 30 stems coming in. That's not gonna kill it, it'll kill the crowns. Well, you take the crowns and you put them on a top and you let them roast and die. Then you could actually mow it. You'd have smaller plants, you probably could mow through them. But I'm not sure if you leave the crowns there, how easy you'd ever be able to mow. We've done that well, we've taken crowns out on one property and then we've covered it. The idea of covering it, that patch is way too large. We're gonna work on covering around the well.
But as far as the trail, putting mats down and then gravel on top,
You're
that
gonna
sounds
have
like
to,
that
yeah,
would
and
work.
I think, whoever's talking with the cross-country track with Greg on this, it has to be covered so that nobody can't come back up through the trail. You're still gonna have, well, if you don't mow it, it's gonna have 10 feet, 15 foot over the top of the trail.
even with people riding their bikes through there and walking and.
They're never walking on the trail.
You won't have it on the trail, you have it on the
You
side.
have it on the side of the trail, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I thought you were saying it's going up through the trail.
No, it's
It
not.
is at the moment, because there's nothing down there.
But you're talking just fabric
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you use for, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not a very wide, I know it looks like he's got some wide thing
It's
there.
not
It's
very
not
wide.
wide.
It's not very
Not
wide.
It's not
No.
wide.
Did they put dirt down yet, right? They're running gravel.
They started,
It's not-
that's about it.
Yeah, the plan is not for this to be like what the railbed looks like in the rest of town
Right.
at all. This
Right.
is just a bike path that's compatible with the snowmobile club, and it's been, talked out with the buckaroos, make sure it's wide enough.
And that's what it is.
Yeah, there's one culvert, I think, going in, and, yeah.
Where do you put dirt when that culvert's going in, so I was confused by that. Yeah, because it's a deep puddle in it.
I don't know, I'm not, I just know that they were ordering a culvert, I think. I haven't seen it since I saw the original digging, but I didn't see the finished product. Or wherever it's at. Alright, well, I think we have resolution, we're not spraying.
We're
on
not
it.
gonna
Yeah.
spray that.
Do we need to make a motion on that, or
We
not?
should.
Yeah, alright, I'm gonna make a motion that we, don't spray the town property behind the, I'm gonna say the depot, the old depot, Dave Sambo's place, and the stone shed out the lane, just to Little Italy Road.
Yeah.
And all the way down Railroad.
I don't know that.
Yeah, no, we gotta,
It's
because.
the same patch.
Oh,
Same
It
path.
is, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so,
so that, yeah.
I'll
can-
second that.
yeah, I can second it with them. I can approve it with them.
I would suggest, though, that you come up with a proposal for who's going to mow it and how frequently.
Yeah, yeah, and we're gonna this year, we're gonna.
So let's put it together.
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay. Moving on. Highway. I'll let you lead on that, or are we gonna,
Harold's not here.
Harold's
so-
not here, so we're good, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Treasurer?
I handed out budgets to all the departments, we're at 58%. I plan to mail out the tax bills August 29th, and they'll be due November 7th. 2024 audits are in the office for you to review, and I'll keep them there. You can take them, whatever you want. I guess that is it.
We submitted those financial reports. Did you get anything back on those?
Yeah, I had to do one more thing, but we did it and it's
Good to
done.
go?
Yeah,
All right, good.
good to go, thank you, yes, the,
Fine.
closeout, State of Vermont closeout agreement has been done. Mike came in and we got it done, so that was great. Any grant information, I was just gonna update that I'm still waiting for final steps on the USDA money. Nobody's really responding. You email them every week to what's the next step. And the tree grant, Steve has planted the last 2 trees up on, Frost Field. So, that's just about final. And that's all I have.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you. Treasurer? I
Town
mean,
clerk.
town clerk?
Yep, so, like, we're working on the tax rate, getting that finalized, and that's, well, we'll spend most of August getting that ready to go out. There is a BCA meeting, I emailed everybody, you guys are on that as select board. On the odd number years, we need to go over the checklist. So I sent that for Monday, August 18th at 5. If we just get at least enough people to come to make it a meeting, and just go through it, it doesn't take that long. It's good to have a lot of variety of people because if people, everyone knows their own circle of people, so that makes it easier to go through. So if Larry said you can go, so if you guys can let me know about that, and then the JPs are on that, that's all of them as well. And Dan and I have been working hard with the dogs, and that's gotten probably as low as it's ever been. And like I said, that's where you'll see like that revenue will be a little bit higher, but not enough to make a huge difference of tax rate type stuff. I think Dan's next step is to send out the municipal tickets to the last few that we haven't heard from. Some people we've been in contact with, and they are working on getting the dogs' rabies shots, so that's all going smoothly. That would be our next step, and I think that's giving people some motivation to get this simple, silly thing done, but it is a state law. And other than that, normal stuff going on. I'm just gonna think of.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Dorothy?
Dan's been back out working on pictures. So at this point, we've got 270 parcels done, which is 42%. So we're gonna keep working on them, doing like 30 or 40 a week, and his plan is to hopefully get up to the pond. We're holding off on the pond, but hopefully getting up to the pond closer to fall when some of the leaves are gone. So we're just working through some of the roads. He did Goodfellow and up that way, up that road and all the side roads this past week. And it's good because he found one building that we didn't know about, that somebody built without a permit. So it's good. I've got 2025 grand list is pretty well finalized. I'm starting on doing work, property transfers for 2026. Just today I got all of the cartographics finalized, all the mapping, that's all done for this year. And then I've sent an email off to NIMRIC to get the cards updated, the online cards updated, and also to get the PDF of all the properties for Carrie to have and the others to have in the office. Those the online property cards. So hopefully in the next week or so we'll have that information back. And that's about it.
Okay. Thank you. Dan?
A couple things. One, I will be out of town tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. So if any calls come in, maybe you can handle them that way. The zoning calls can wait. I dispatched another rabied coon last week. That makes 4 this year. I've never seen 4 rabied coons in this town in my lifetime in 1 year. And I put down 4 so far. So we don't know exactly how bad the outbreak is. We know it's bad.
Have they been doing those drops?
They have been doing the drops, but it's not effective if it's already infected. And the other thing is that you don't know how effective the drops are anyways, because you don't know where the different branches are where these coons are congregating. So
They were tested for rabies and FDA.
2 of them have been tested, 2 of them were not because they didn't need to be. You could tell that, yeah.
Were they all in the same location?
No,
All over town?
no, one was in the center of town, one was on Railroad Street, one was down by the Baptist Church, and one was in West Groton. So it's spread out in a fairly large area, and those are the ones we know of. We don't know about the ones that have died or are still carriers. And as we found out, they can carry the virus for 6 months before it migrates to the brain. So at this point, we're just telling people to be diligent, don't handle them, don't get around them. If they're acting lethargic or if they're acting vicious, stay away from them, leave them alone. Call me and I'll come take care of it. Other than that, everything else seems to be going pretty well. In fact, I've got to go to another meeting in 2 minutes, so. Just busy times. Carrie said the dog thing is working out very well for us with the new ability to actually have people have some repercussions if they don't do it. That's a big plus for us.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the wild pig in Groton?
I did hear about that. I wasn't notified by Nate, but I was told that he was in West Groton. I have a shoot to kill edict on him. If I see him, I'm going to put him down.
Can any of the residents around there put him down if they see him? You know anything about that?
I have not heard about that, but a wild boar is an invasive species and should be put down as quickly as possible.
Understood?
So, with that, I'm done.
Okay, thank you,
Thanks,
Dan.
Dan.
Thank
Welcome
you.
back.
Okay, fire fast,
Nothing.
nothing, Dorothy, you don't have anything, okay? Okay, update on ongoing grants,
We talk about more. So we had VGS in, for a site visit. Efficiency Vermont came in, for a site visit. There's a lot of moving parts, and so this is trying to put them on a piece of paper so that we can kind of get our head around outstanding stuff and keep moving things forward. There's three documents in here. One is our sort of update. The second is the Efficiency Vermont follow-up from their site visit. And the third, I just attached the original scope of work since we're kind of seeking amendments against some of that stuff. Current status, I mean, we can zip through some of these things. I think the big question with the community building right now is the potential amendment, if we want to pursue it, to try to replace the 82 aging boilers here with either 2 pellets boilers or 1 pellet boiler, and Efficiency Vermont's calling it a 1 small low mass propane boiler. So kind of have a dual system. We would need to get the site sort of spec'd. That's what came out of Efficiency Vermont. So I think trying to go for oil-based is not going to go anywhere. Propane, I think pure propane, probably not going to go anywhere unless we want to wait to get later in the cycle on things. But I think if we want to start moving forward right now and see if we can get the amendment, because it's not in the original scope of work, and get the MERP grant to cover that cost, I think it's one of those 2 options. It's going to be, because we got Efficiency Vermont who's come in and is kind of recommending that as a best case option. So that's one thing that's out there. I think that the questions that kind of pop up from the 2 different site visits, electric heat pumps, are we ready to do that? Okay, we've been funded for that. You know, it seems like questions had popped up about heat pumps and are they the right thing? I guess the question is, to you guys, is are we ready for that? If not, what info do you guys need to get comfortable with that decision? And that could be more info about heat pumps. It could be solar spec and see what we can generate in terms of revenue to kind of cover those costs or not. But we're kind of, I feel personally like we're kind of in a little bit of a gray area of uncertainty, and so I'm trying to get clarity around that. Lisa?
I thought when they were here, I can't remember which group it was, that due to our maze of a building down here, that the heat pumps were going to be difficult to heat because of all the piping and all the rooms. So I thought that was an issue that,
I don't remember that.
Yeah, and she said about needing it for AC, that wasn't where the, down here is
You're talking
already,
about the Efficiency Vermont
yeah.
visit. Yeah, I mean,
The only heat pump areas were gonna be your offices and Dorothy's office. It wasn't gonna include this area here.
Yeah, that's
Just
kind of what
seems-
I got from when Efficiency Vermont
That
was
just seems like
here.
a waste.
It was just up there and Dorothy's that were a possibility.
For what reasoning? Just to give us a third source of heat?
what, the heat pumps? Well, we've been funded for it, so it would be to basically be the primary heat source for the office/admin zone.
But then she talked about the different type of heat, and I thought we talked about how that we didn't care for that. She
Didn't
say-
care for what?
the blowing of air as our heat instead of
Yeah, I think
heat around.
what efficiency Vermont came back with in their little memo is try to use the existing water-based system.
So
which
that's
has to
why
be
I
with the pellets,
think it would
pellet
be,
boilers.
that heat pumps would be a waste if that's what I'm gonna come in and turn on the heat for the baseboard on a cold winter day, not have heat, just air, hot air blowing.
Well,
I just, even though we have the money, I just don't see that we should go through that whole.
But the heat pumps are gonna be a lot more efficient and certainly in the shoulder seasons, like November, early December, in the springtime, without the need to run a boiler. So you have,
That's just my opinion, I guess, that's what I'm saying. I don't think to put them into 2 rooms and go through the whole,
I mean, I look at this now, I'm like, alright, the proposal is replace our 2 oil burner things with 2 electrical heating systems, the heat pumps, a pellet and a propane. We've gone from 1 to 3 different technologies. And that scares me, because looking at these, it's like, things have to be cleaned regularly, HVAC professionals need to come in. I know they're out there to do the work, but, let's say we did go with the propane and the pellet hybrid and the electric, we would now have 3 different systems. I would hope one person could check them all and do all the work, but, they all have filters, they're all a little different.
I mean, the way to simplify that is just to do 2 pellet boilers,
Yeah,
right? That takes 1 off the table.
yeah.
but that doesn't address any summertime cooling
Yeah.
in the other parts in the office areas. And I don't think we can deny that our climate's getting warmer. So it may not be something you need a lot right now, but what about 2 years or 5 years from now, when you need more cooling options, because the pellet stuff won't do anything to address that.
But it seems like this is an energy efficiency grant, and they're like, oh, put this in, you'll actually use more electricity, as opposed to, it doesn't offset any fuel.
Well, Mike, that's not necessarily true. I mean, part of that is, some of this is more efficient
Yeah,
than the current fuel oil boiler system. So,
yeah,
so it is adding, and part of it is also using the boilers more efficiently. Like the community, the gym area and that kind of thing, being able to use it for that. But the officers, do we need that much capacity when we're using 10 or 15% of the building most of the time?
And it's granted that
heat's
it's
turned down in the other
consume
parts.
more electricity, but the $60,000 or $80,000 we have for solar panels is intended to offset that in terms of
yeah.
producing our own energy. So, I mean, I don't think there's any question if we get to solar that we're saving money. We're saving the town money, we're saving taxpayer money. By being able to produce our own energy. It was projected to be somewhere around $15,000 a year.
Solar.
Yeah. Now, we would need to get somebody out to kind of scope that, look at capacity. Is it gonna be 15? Is it gonna be 12? Is it gonna be 18? We don't know. But 12 is more than we're producing annually right now.
Right. Yeah, I think I'd like to know that. Are the solar panels feasible?
Mm-hmm.
Or buildings, everything in the right coordination, or whatever it is that they look at.
I mean, yeah, you're right. The risk is they show up, we're ready to do panels, and the roof doesn't support it. And then, do we want to look at a field rate? Okay. Maybe we don't. Maybe panels don't work. So I think getting that answer, I think in terms of function, will it work? Is it capable? And then what's its capacity? Is probably a good idea.
Could your contractor do that? Was it CX or whatever?
I don't think CX does it. Dennis had a good idea, which is let's just get a hold of Efficiency Vermont and get 3 people or 3 groups in and have them start looking at stuff.
I know Nate Puffer reinforced the roof system above the gym.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be worth you having a chat with him as far as
Yeah.
how reinforced it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Dorothy, it sounded like you had a question.
So, where do we get our hot water now? Off the furnace?
No, just separate hot water heater.
It's oil.
It's separate.
Separate water heater?
Mhm.
Is it separate water heater or is it off the
Yeah, it's
furnace?
right behind the boilers, it's electric.
So, why is the furnace running now?
To heat the water.
Hmm?
To heat the water, I'm assuming.
Okay, so the water is heated by the furnace.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
separate.
And then if we had a pellet furnace, would that run 365 days of the year?
No. Because part of the plan was to replace the current hot water heater with a heat pump hot water heater.
Okay.
That's in there too, right? That's in their specs.
Yeah, we don't use much hot water anyways.
No.
And see, the thing is, we need to come up with somebody to, if we do wood pellets, we need to come up with somebody that's gonna come in either weekly or bi-weekly and, take the ash out.
Yeah.
So,
And propane isn't an option?
it sounded like it was when they were here, when I
Well,
was
it
here.
could be, but it's not in the spirit of, I mean, we can ask for it, but this is stuff that's not even in the grant right now. I think if we're gonna ask for propane or whatever, anything that's not sort of under their focus zones of where they're trying to direct things, I would wait. So we can do that at the end. We can do that at the end when we have extra money.
If we had,
I think we wait till the end on that.
if we did, like a pellet boiler and a propane boiler, at least we'd have something that would back up if the ash is in.
Exactly.
If it's,
That's one of the things right now that Efficiency Vermont is flagging for us. So it's much stronger case with BGS right now. to
because
go
we've
through
already,
that.
I mean, we've already got propane at the firehouse, so it's not like we're gonna be adding another fuel.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll get to the firehouse in a little bit, but, yeah. Because one of the things they're proposed, Efficiency Vermont was proposing for that, for the fire station, is a sort of hybrid
Right,
propane plus electric.
Yeah.
All right, kind of like heat pump.
right, yeah,
So
it
it's
was,
dual fuel.
which is what we talked about that day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because the one real benefit of that is pulling the moisture out of the building.
Right,
After the
Yeah.
guys
which is
are
a
out
big
of
thing
call.
for the
Which is a big
firehouse.
deal there.
Yes,
Uh,
yeah, that makes all sense
Yeah.
there.
So, we're kind of jumping to that, but back up here for the community building, sounds like the best approach is let's understand solar in terms of capacity and capability and all that sort of stuff, and what those numbers look like or estimated to be. I guess back to there, it sounds like if we want to pursue anything right now, to seek an amendment with BGS, it would be go for the 2 pellet stoves or the pellet plus the propane. Right now, the other option is let's just wait on that and not bother BGS about that until we get other things taken care of. Does that make sense? I mean,
That's me.
Yeah, yeah.
What other things are there to take care of?
what other things?
Yeah,
Scope of work stuff. You go through, it's the last page. You're talking about other stuff that need to, I mean, this is, let's go through the list here. So all of the above. So understanding solar and deploying solar, I do first before we try to replace our aging boiler system. I would do everything before, that we've been approved of here, before we go back and ask for.
so like the envelope of the office crawl space, I thought he came and looked and saw that was already all sealed up.
It's
That
whatever,
they
I
crawled
don't
in.
have this scope of work stuff that CX created, on me right now, but it's what's in that right now.
So the envelope stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what it's gonna be. Solar, we're losing 28% or 25% tax credits at the end of the year, so that's gonna be 25% higher now. Cause that's just been part of the new big bill or whatever it is, but that's going away, so that's gonna be 25% higher. So I think we're gonna be pressed with dollars, but we'll see.
So the solar we can't get that rolling before that goes
We're gonna,
away.
no, that's the catch-22 a little bit with some of this stuff. They want weatherization, building envelope done before you start doing solar. And HVAC,
Even if they're gonna save money by doing it first.
yeah, it's just the way it is. They've been kind of clear on that, we could go ask for an exception. I think what we do is we go get some solar people in and understand what's involved.
I think it would be
And
crazy.
maybe it's a stronger case with BGS if we went in and we said, you know what, we're gonna need to get these numbers coming in. And by the way, there's a 25% credit going away, okay, in December. Maybe we can get the okay to deploy early, given the credit going away, and given the fact that people would like to see savings first, right? Or something like that. And that we can cover things.
I think it would be crazy not to try to save that 25% if we can.
I know, it's just not the sequence, and
I know it.
nobody expected it, well, I guess they expected it, but, it's, yeah. I wouldn't rule it out, I think the important thing is let's just prioritize the solar folks, and then figure out, what else we can start moving on.
But we should also be asking BGS about whether or not we can go pellet or pellet propane, right? We should at least see.
Yeah, well, well, we haven't brought that up with BPS yet, pellet propane, is that a possibility? I mean, from what I've heard, having efficiency, kind of get the engineers, get in here and look at things, gives us, I think, a much stronger case to do that. So if we want to go do that, let us know and we'll go pursue that with BGS. But I don't want to go there with BGS if it's like, well, we're not quite sure
Right.
yet.
I say wait on that.
Because the electric heat pumps are that's part of the reason we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
It's like, do we want to do this? Well, we got the money for it. I know BGS is, given how much they push back on the highway garage around pulling the heat pumps out of that, if it comes to this building, I don't know how they're going to react.
Right, and I thought we had kind of talked at the time that we were gonna at least do one heat pump.
Mm-hmm.
To at least cover the upstairs offices up there.
Yep.
Your office down here, Dorothy, does it get hot being down here?
No, I see it's regulated by the thermostat that's in Carrie's office.
But I mean, as far as summertime, do you stay comfortable down here without air conditioning, or?
It depends, some days I run a fan. If we have all the doors open, it's not too bad.
Mhm.
I have a little fan I run once in a while.
Our offices really aren't that bad. I mean, we
No,
just,
but
yeah.
you guys do run air conditioners some in
Yeah.
there.
To me, I thought the heat pump question is kind of hinges on the solar, or I won't be able to make an informed response to it without knowing like our electric bill's going to be through the roof because we're not offsetting the costs with solar. You know, I think
But
the solar question.
the amount that we used AC, if now that's what we're using for the heat pump, that's,
Well, I just think
It's
it's tough
not
to
gonna
make
be
a
very
decision
much.
on the heat pumps because of the expense to electric bills, and you know, even if let's say they do get used, it's just dustingly hot summer, you know, and now we've racked up an extra $1,000–1,500 worth of electric bills, and you know, I don't know. It'd be nice to know if the solar can offset.
Fair enough. I mean, it's a risk factor, there's no question. I mean, I think the big risk is, can we do it? First question.
Right.
And then, if we can, what are we looking at in terms of expected production?
The other question is, can they do the pellet boilers in that like, I understand engineers come in, but I've worked for engineers so many times, and you go to some project with the engineer's drawing, and then the contractor laughs at the drawing and says, who wrote this up? There's no way in God's green earth this is gonna work out here. You know, so the question that I would then wanna have is, you know, are contractors telling us, yes, this can go, this will work out great here, or are they looking at our building and go, you have a nightmare on your hands? And
Don't know yet,
yeah, that's a curiosity.
don't know yet.
Well, the engineers, I mean, efficiency, Vermont engineers that were here said that the space was adequate.
Yeah.
But
And
it's
we're not
also-
talking about changing the piping, I mean, it's,
Right.
Yeah.
we're basically replacing boilers with a different.
But-
Yeah, the only,
Yeah, I don't know how much of it is just
The pellet.
CIA,
I
but
think
some of
so.
their language in the emails are saying, oh, you need to confirm this with
Through those
yeah,
walls.
so they kind of have worked that language in, you know.
the only problem that I could foresee possibly, and I know nothing about it, would be the hopper that they have the pellets in, being able to get them from out back most likely into the boiler. That would be the problem area possibly. Other than that, I don't think there'd be an issue.
Well, one thought would be, we go forward with the BGS, try to get the amendment for either 2 pellet or the pellet propane mix. And then we can, if it's blessed, start to get people in to look at it.
Well, it'd be nice to get them to give us the option of either or. I mean, if they do that, then we're not under the gun to make an uninformed decision.
An option of either or is 2
Both.
pellets?
2 pellets
Yeah,
or a pellet and
but we're
propane.
still gonna get into the feeder challenge though, right?
Right,
'Cause
and we need to find out from a contractor that installs those things if it's a possibility.
What do you think?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine they can't do it.
Yeah, there's a combination, it sounds like now they're using a combination of auger and vacuum,
Yeah,
depending on the length, that they're having to go out for.
I mean, it's just a matter of being able to get the feeder pipe to the boiler system from outside.
Okay, so we're gonna move forward on figuring out solar. And I guess the question to you guys is, do you want us to move forward with exploring an amendment with BGS to get 2 pellets or a pellet/propane solution?
Those are really our only options, because they're not gonna go for oil anyway, so.
Yeah.
I think we need a pellet/propane, not 2 pellets.
I would say 2 pellets would be good if we had a maintenance person. But we don't, so
Yeah,
I think we'd be smarter to go,
why don't we just ask for either or?
right,
To your point.
then we can make the
And then
decision.
we can decide.
Because if we come up with somebody, you know, if we find out that that's an easy solution, then it might be worth doing.
Yeah.
Because there are, from what Efficiency Vermont was saying, there are towns that have just pellet, and it's been working great, so. We just need to figure out what we would do for the.
Yeah, how much does that man cost you, then you add that dollar into your.
I would think that you could probably find somebody to do it, you know, an hour's wage every week, every other week.
Yeah.
That would be my,
Yeah, doesn't need to be a 20-hour.
no,
deal.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Fireman that's coming in, you know, once a week to do training over here, you know, it's just stop in,
Yeah.
pull the suitcase out, perfect for a fireman, dump ash.
Right, and get an hour's pay for doing
Yeah.
it.
We got rid of layer of the coal, we can add dumper of the ash. to it.
Pretty simple the way it is now, fill the oil tank up.
Yeah, but the oil burners aren't getting.
Yeah, no, and that's what, and
We're gonna-
I understand that, where are we gonna be 4 years down the road or 2 years down the road? And we said no to all this and the boilers go.
Right.
Yeah, and
we've
when they
got-
go,
people
you
look
pay
back
3 or
and
4
say-
times as much.
Yeah,
No, we gotta be reasonable, responsible with the town taxpayers' money. And heat pumps and that, from what they say, is the future. I
Well,
understand.
let's understand solar.
Wood pellets, I love that idea because it uses renewable energy. That's in our area, that keeps people employed, but just the wood pellet scares me because I mean, I don't know, everybody here probably has a pellet stove. It's just not turnkey there are issues sometime, and if you don't have a backup. And the biggest issue now is if you don't know how to fix your own, try to call somebody and have them come fix it for you. You know, for me, I can make them run, but a lot of people can't. So try to get something serviced now. Call a dealership for a truck, a car, I'll put you on the list. You know, it's just the world we live in, so you got to have a reasonable backup, is my feeling. But I also know we can't just say, no, this isn't good for us. Well, maybe right now it's not, but looking back in a few years, we might have said that was a mistake. So, like Mike says, more about solar so we understand it.
Yep.
And
Yeah, so it's really, get some insight from Nate in terms of what he did. We'll try to get 3 solar folks in here to scope the buildings, okay? And then we'll go to BGS and explore an amendment involving, can we do either 2 pellets or pellet and propane?
Now, if we say they approve, say the structure is fine to do it, if we purchase the panels before that date,
I don't know if they need to be fully deployed or what the fine print is on
Okay.
the
And towns are able to get this tax credit?
oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, 'cause I wasn't sure.
So there's a couple options for getting funding back. Is if you look, I have to work under some of these granting plans, and a town can cry and say, I don't have money and I need money back. You can get your money back, but a lot of times they're going to ask you to have things installed.
Yeah.
That would be something to ask.
But we're also making the assumption that BGS is gonna grant us the exception to
Okay.
accelerate that. That's a hurdle in there, so. But,
and you're running out of time.
oh yeah,
It's August.
yeah, I know.
No, I'm not. I appreciate what you're doing
I
and the
get it.
time
We're running out of time.
we're,
I mean, that's one of the things flagged here too on an NVDA group call a couple weeks ago. They kind of brought up, we originally thought we had until, put everything under contract through the end of 2026. And somebody started raising questions about, no, we have to have it all spent by the end of 2026.
Yeah, because that's what they told us
That's
originally.
that's what everyone's been told. So we're trying to get some clarity around that too. So we may have less time, I don't know, at the end of the day. So that's community building. Fire station, a little bit more straightforward. We've already got some approved stuff by BGS. The whole topic of the new fire station building has come up. Directly been brought up with BGS and with Efficiency Vermont. So those people are aware of that. I guess the question is, how does this impact how we, should proceed going forward? Ignore it, keep moving.
Can we, these units have to be interchangeable, right? If we have like a 2 or 3 year old heating system over there and we replace the
HVAC sounds like, is very likely
not the
solar, the CX people, I brought it up with them, it's not gonna be interchangeable.
So we don't put solar panels on that building, obviously, if it's gonna come down, right?
Well, the question is the new building going up in 2 years, 7 years, 10 years, or 20 years? Because that would dictate what we probably want to do with solar.
Or at all, because the townspeople have to approve something like that.
Yeah.
That's not a given.
Plus the heating the heating system that they're proposing would be spec for the existing building.
Well, can
So
you,
even though it could be, the unit could be transferred, it may not be spec for a building that ends up being twice the size of the one that's there now.
you could tell that we're planning an extension of the building and you want it to spec 20% higher than what it is, and they will be able to do that, I would
It would
believe.
be able, but I don't think we'd get approval for that. I don't think we could get approval for something that was 20% above spec of the existing, so.
We're a long way away from.
I'd say we move forward because it's
Just
not
move
gonna
forward.
happen in 2 years.
So that's
There was heat pump, I mean,
But
it's,
there's a lot of layers to,
I mean, it was
yeah.
brought up with BGS and efficiency. Dennis and I didn't bring it up,
Yeah.
so they're kind of aware of it, but I don't think it's gonna be an issue.
yeah, so just go forward with, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then number 2 is this hybrid furnace heat pump was flagged, and it seemed like a really win-win solution for the fire station. This would be an amendment that we would be seeking with BGS, and it would deal with humidity issues inside, and it would give us sort of a, propane backup a little bit, electrical.
They certainly should approve that because it was Efficiency Vermont that brought that up. We didn't even bring it
No,
up.
I think we have an exceptionally strong case for it. I guess my question is, are you fine with us going after that? 'Cause
Yeah.
I am.
Yes.
I don't know, are you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am too.
All right, town garage, Dennis is kind of lined up, I don't know if we have an installation date or not, on that, but the exterior doors have been purchased.
Yeah, no, I think you guys are signing off tonight on the contract for it, and
Yeah, they signed and I have a check ready. I just, for the half of the portion they request.
yeah, so
I
that
was
will get
waiting.
the doors ordered, and they said usually about 6 weeks, takes about 6 weeks to get the door in, and then they'll schedule an install date. So that's in the pipeline.
Everything else on that building is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Section 2 here, I just mentioned the fact that this whole idea of you need to spend it all the end of 2026 was just brought up with the NVDA towns. So NVDA was trying to get clarity on from BGS on that. What does that mean? So it's kind of like I don't think we change anything right now, but we could be losing some time. Hopefully we'll have clarity here next week or two. Some other thoughts on moving forward. I think, the original plan was to have a sort of one-size-fits-all sort of RFP. It's just we're getting wrapped around all these, are we gonna do electric heat pumps? Are we doing this or doing that? I think what we're proposing is we just simplify this thing down and maybe have solar be its own little thing. Maybe, and we need to talk about this, capacity to manage that, but maybe just manage that process ourselves. And then figure out how we cut out the weatherization, building envelope stuff, and any lighting stuff, and just get somebody on that sooner, instead of trying to work heat pumps and other things in there. I think any HVAC thing that we got clarity for will include, but the unknown stuff I don't think we'll do right now.
Because like the HVAC and some of it in the solar are so specialized, it's not like you can just bring anybody in that the general contractor to do them, so we're looking at kind of specialized help for those.
And I mean, if you guys need to move forward quicker with something, you can always come to one of us and talk to us about it.
Well, that's where you're getting ahead of me a little bit, because that's one of my points down below, which is,
And, I mean, we'd have to call a special meeting, but,
yeah. Yeah, I guess the question is just how do we move quicker?
and that's the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can schedule meetings, 24-hour notice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've kind of known that, we've kind of helped, we were gonna do that for an RFP, but we're just kind of getting caught around these other edges of different things. And that's it on this. So I think we got 3 things, and look, we may be calling a special meeting on a simplified RFP. Simplified, not the right word, but we're gonna try to cut back to what we know for sure and get that.
Start moving.
Yeah, instead of trying to solve the other stuff, so.
Yeah, and it's hard when we're meeting, you know, once a month in the summer to get decisions made.
Yeah, I mean,
so-
we're learning things as we go. I mean, you know, we kind of pitched something last fall and we got it. And, you know, I think there's still time. I think if we get moving on solar, though, it will answer some questions for everybody. And then I'm optimistic we can make a good case to see if we can try to slip that under the cracks, but we'll see.
And this has had just more moving parts than I think either Mike or I anticipated, so that's
Well,
part
I
of
think
the timeline.
than any of us anticipated, I think. Whenever you get a bunch of people involved and stuff too, it's, you come up with a lot of different problems than you anticipated.
Yeah, the simple way would have just to call in people to do the work that we get the money for. The good thing is we've gotten people together and we're figuring things out, so, yeah.
Yeah, but there's some time you gotta break away from that and get things done, because it just will never end. You gotta carry it all right here and get it done, and you got my support, because I don't have the time or the knowledge or the want to do what you two are doing for the town of Groton. You know, I want it, I mean, we're into it now. We keep circling around. Make the decisions you feel you can. Like Tom said, check in with us.
I mean, we can make some decisions, but
Yeah.
ultimately this stuff comes down.
But for us
It's
to,
your decision.
Yeah,
too, 'cause
but
it does have long-term implications.
yeah, it does, but we can't just keep circling. I don't know what you two feel, but I know.
I'm certainly more than willing to come in if we need
Yeah.
to make a decision for
Yeah.
it, to get things rolling.
And we can decide right then, right? I mean, if we keep going back and thinking about it more, we can find reasons not to do anything in this, you know. It just, that's, you know, and my time's way more valuable than that to me and my family.
Your point's taken.
Okay. So I'm on your side. I appreciate what you two are doing. So we'll get it narrowed down
Yeah.
and get moving.
Okay, that's a good way to end.
Okay.
I've got a quick broadband update, probably a minute and a half. So the build-out's been going on for a couple months. I think they're up at like Groton today, doing stuff, it sounds like, with a couple crews. It's still like a fall time frame for when 300 or so addresses should be able to sign up for service. Doesn't sound like things are behind schedule at all. Sounds like things are on schedule. Maybe even possibly a little bit earlier, but so that's going well. I don't know if I mentioned Katie Moritz has been hired as the communications manager for NEK Broadband. She's going to be working out of Groton hub space. Oh, there we go. Okay. How'd you get that?
You sent a message out that I saw somewhere.
Did a little diligence? Oh, it's Facebook. Yeah. Yeah, so she's kind of down there now, I don't think full-time, but part-time. The hub space is the digitally enabled community center space that's kind of being built out. It'll be kind of soft launch here probably in a couple of weeks. We've got office designers in there, kind of trying to come up with the right solution for the space. It's not a lot of space, it's 438 square feet. I think that will probably there'll be an open house probably end of September, October-ish for that, and that will be open through the end of 2027. Yeah, 2027. So that's phase. So, and we'll get Katie maybe in here at a future select board meeting just to say hi. But, and when I say we, I'm just a volunteer working with NEK Broadband on this project. Community space too, we're going to do a community survey, something we've talked about for about a year, to try to make sure we set this thing up with the right, it's open the right hours, the right days, that maximizes the benefit for residents. And we'll also ask questions about tech and what they potentially could see themselves using it for. I guess it'd be great to get support around this on the town website, so that people know about this survey. It's an opportunity for people to weigh in, and it's an opportunity to kind of shape and help drive the direction of that. So I don't know if I need select board approval to have something on the Groton website. Town Facebook page has been pretty flexible in the past, but it'd be nice to kind of do that both around the survey, which probably will roll out next week, but also around the open house when that comes up. Maybe less the website for that, but I want to make sure people are aware of it. And all these other channels would be pushed to try to build things, but I think now's the time to get people's input on some of that stuff. And then the state parks, I spoke to Nick Caputo last week, so they're super excited. It sounds like they're gonna kind of wire up the campgrounds and stuff like that with fiber. And the plan still is to get the nature center sort of set up as a Wi-Fi hotspot. I just don't have a timeline until the fiber gets lit up there.
They're up there.
Yeah.
They're on the road going in.
Yeah, but there's this whole quality slicing
Right.
process.
Yeah, it's
that
still a little while out there.
adds time, so, and it's not insignificant, so I guess the question is it okay to put something on the town website somewhere?
I would say, as long as it's not for profit, then yeah.
Yeah,
You know, we're seeking information and it's a public space and,
yeah,
you know, but if you're putting out, sign up for any paper out there, no,
Nope.
you know, like,
none of that,
okay.
nope,
I think that.
it's all a Groton resource that we're not paying for,
Yeah.
including the staff member who's there,
Yep.
so.
Sounds good.
I've got a quick work update. We did award Blue Mountain the gates. They're using concrete blocks, waste blocks, as their anchors. We're in the process. They're ordering the bolts and everything right now. One of the calls that I've gotten is about the gate on the Reigate end and where it's going to go. And there's a definite question about where town property starts there and where it ends. And I've got to call into Fish and Wildlife because there's been suggestions, well, maybe the gate should go by Pine Mountain. And I think for us, it was donated to us as a town and it should probably just be on town property. Because it causes all sorts of problems. If there's a problem with it and it's not on town property, I don't know if that's, I think we want to have it under our control. But I do have a call into them just so I can tell people. I've called Fish and Wildlife and they said, probably not, I'm guessing. They're not going to want access control like that out of their control. But we'll end up with these, I do plan on meeting Mr. Clough down there to sort of come up with a location that works for him. And then our assumption for where the town line ends, I hope lines up with where he thinks the town line. There's a couple of granite monuments down there that kind of throw into question like where the town line is. But the further we move down the route, then, you know, we're,
Yeah,
you know,
it
for
wouldn't
sure.
have to be right at the town line.
Yeah.
It'd be up-
Yeah, we're gonna be like 20 feet from
Yeah.
wherever the area is anyway, or wherever they can, it's all sand there, so that's gonna be easy installation. But anyway, just thought I'd get that update just in case anyone called. So I looked at our budget and it's really rough budget, you know, it's like, well, here's what we think we're gonna spend on this and that and this and this, here's what we've committed. It's looking like probably like what I said, somewhere between probably around 4,000 would come out of the town maintenance fund for these gates. Might be lower, might be slightly higher, but we're trying to keep it there. Adding a website, a web page to the website, can we do that? GrotonVT.com/maps. Is that possible? Do we talk to someone?
Maps for what?
So part of the grant requirement is the maps that were made for this grant need to be posted online. So
We
it's,
can put it somewhere, yeah.
yeah. So I'll just send you an email with all the maps I have so far. supposed to track how many visitors go to it. May or may not do that, but so I can just, we have a website.
So it's a PDF that will get on
It's
there?
like 2 files, yeah. You're gonna be like, here are maps of Groton, and it'll be like these 2 files and maybe a link to like FPR or VAST or something, so you could see different maps of places in Groton. I'll either send the files and maybe like a brief description of what each one is, and just be a basic website.
And a basic thing for the first click of the page,
Yeah, just
while
it'll just
while
say
you're
like
there.
recreational
Maps of,
opportunities in
yeah.
Groton, you know, click here for maps or something. It's just one of those funky requirements of our grant. I don't think it's a big deal, but just want to put it on radar. And then that's it. The next thing is I'll talk about at the next meeting. Tired.
Okay.
Crap.
All right. Follow up. Well, we got the quote from the guy for the ball fields, and I've talked with a couple of people involved with the fields, and I just want to go over it with them, what we got, Steve Murray, and just see if what we got here for a puffer field, if that he feels is a positive thing to do, or do we spend that kind of money on it?
We won't have enough this year, so.
No, and I
Yeah.
think so. We got to plan on putting it in the budget for next year.
And every year.
And every year it won't be this expensive. You know, we got to come up with a number, and we need the frost field. Just if he's got to come down twice during the year, we can't always count on the volunteers that are coaching the little league, and the puffer field's a little different because the league does use it, and they usually fix it up pretty good when they're using it. But when the school's using it and stuff, you got
When the whole
6
drainage and wetness and everything
Yeah,
was
but
never addressed.
what little I did talk with Steve, he thought raising the infield was one of the right things to do. That would help. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we're not gonna take care of all that drainage problem
No.
without spending, I mean, they've spent money, so. We're not gonna totally take care of it, but this is a start, so.
We should keep an eye on the
But I
parking
think
lot
we
even
push
too.
it off, this, when we do our budget, we'll put some money in for it, and let it, you know, see that it flies this, in next March. So, that's where we're at, the flags, anybody, were you?
I actually just talked to, that's who I was texting here with Ben. He's going to do it, let's see. He said something about finding the stainless steel bands. You've got those, right?
No, I can't find them.
You can't find them.
I went to Fogg's and I went to,
Dad's.
Dad's, and what they have is
Cut it
you're
yourself.
cutting pieces and putting it together. It's not like what we need, and I need Ben, who knows what we need to go in.
I think Tom could talk with Willis, and he uses companies, Granger
Oh, okay,
and McMaster. He deals with that. He could tell us quick.
okay.
If
I mean,
you
we
did-
have two here that someone can look at and
Yeah,
go somewhere and get it.
Willis will understand it, and he can tell us if they can be gotten through McMaster or,
I mean, Ben, or somebody that knows this stuff, I went to both stores and
Yeah,
talked to the
yeah,
people, but
so.
I don't know what I'm talking about. You know, I
Yeah.
brought it and,
Well, they
And I
should know.
told Ben I'd help him put them up too, so.
And I talked to Ben the other day, he actually came up to me to talk about it, and I told him how we moved them in the office now, because people were thinking they were free to take. So he'll have to coordinate coming in,
Well.
or some night leave them out when we know he's coming.
I got a key if I know.
Right, so then you
yeah,
can do
right,
it.
right.
yeah, that'd be awesome.
It's all the new brackets and new screws too, so
Yeah,
it's
Yeah,
no sense.
I got all that. It's just the strapping I have a problem getting.
you've got some, just not all of
No,
them. No.
whatever's on the poles, there's none here for strapping.
And the stuff that's on the poles is no good, or some of it is good?
Some might not even be there, some could be there and be okay, but I don't know.
Ben's
Ben
really
would
the
know.
Ben's the question because he puts them on.
He's bought this stuff before.
Yes.
Then.
He
So
did
he
find it down in Woodsville. I
Yeah.
just didn't.
Okay.
I wasn't
Okay, so
successful.
maybe-
So,
alright.
you know, it's really not my area. And,
All right, well, I'll get it in and we'll figure it out.
okay.
Okay. Okay, we got signed stuff, okay, items for next meeting.
I wanted to talk about, I hate to say this word, but we do need to think about when we wanna do our Saturday budget meeting. I was looking at the calendar, and November 22nd is before Thanksgiving, so that would, be better for the hunters and such, and not too late. I hate to do it in December because everybody's weekends are so precious with the holidays, so, if everybody wants to look and think about it for next meeting, we can, schedule that day if,
I don't hunt, so just drop it right during anywhere.
okay, alright,
Yeah, that date sounds good, or any date will work for me, as long as I get enough notice.
okay.
3 months. Telling you right
I
now.
had notice today to get here at 5. It didn't work out. I had to go to Queechee and rescue a crane.
Oh dear.
Hoping
Never know, every
not
day
the
is different.
bird, I hope.
And then I gotta go home and flip a side-by-side back
I
on
saw
its
that on the way
wheels.
down. I
You
was
see
like,
it?
what the heck is going on?
Who did that?
One of the grandkids, I don't have a lot of details yet.
We'll find out when we get there.
Yeah,
At least
Or to
they
get
must
tipped
know.
back up. And
they're all right,
least
so
it
that's
wasn't
all that
Darlene.
matters. Darlene said she couldn't flip it back up.
I hope you go home and it's flipped back up and everyone's just really quiet about it.
Oh, they know I know about it. But anyways, that being said,